It's not your typical view of Washington, one of working together, but it seems that's what's happening. Some rare bipartisan progress on the USMCA, U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement.
Probably a couple of 100,000 jobs each year, additional jobs each year. So that would be a booster rocket for the economy.
You see impacts to agriculture, you see impacts to dairy, you see impacts to American workers, to currency.
The treaty that would govern trillions of dollars in trade and replace the previous one, NAFTA, would up the number of American parts used to build cars, increase dairy exports to Canada, protect intellectual property and environmental standards. Wages and conditions in foreign factories would strengthen too. Speaker Pelosi says agreement is now within range if their progress in negotiations is reflected on paper in the final review.
America's working families are not served well by the suppression of workers in other countries, because that just draws facilities to the other country.
Despite all of the animosity and division felt here in Washington these days over impeachment, Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin tells me there have been real bipartisan, genuine negotiations. That's not to say it's a sure thing.
If it's such a great deal, why do you think it's sat somewhat dormant for a year now?
I don't know if they don't want to give President Trump a win. This is a win for the U.S. economy.
Though critics argue new rules can actually restrict some types of trade, even push up costs on cars. But the system was in need of modernizing to reflect e-commerce, and Washington sure could use a win. On Capitol Hill, I'm Scott Thuman.